Welcome to the Times Are Changing podcast. My name is Chase. I'm joined here with Zach. We are the COO and CEO of Golden Aspect. This is a podcast about cutting-edge strategies in digital and social media marketing.
In today's episode, we explain how live streaming is becoming the next frontier in the digital space with COVID-19 moving everything online and how best to take advantage of it. Without any further ado, let's jump right in.
So we want to do an episode on live streaming, especially now with everything going on with COVID-19. This is a perfect time for people, especially brands, to be considering the values of live streaming. It's definitely sort of a newer thing that's gained a lot of steam, especially in the gaming world as of recent. However, live streaming is something that almost every brand can take advantage of in some capacity, and live streams by no means are limited to the gaming world. We've worked with a lot of our clients and seen other brands get really creative, especially recently with COVID, in the ways that they're using the live streaming features available on just about every social media platform now has them. And so in this episode, we want to touch on a bunch of things related to live streaming and kind of explain, and help you guys get an overall idea of what live streaming is all about these days and how best to take advantage of it from a brand perspective.
Something that we've really been harping on in the previous weeks is what social media was really created for, that interaction between people, the social part of social media, and really just focusing on, in general, the best way to be growing and maintaining a following on social media is by regularly interacting with your followers in meaningful ways. And live streaming, especially through the mainstream platforms, thinking like Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, that kind of stuff. Live streaming on those platforms is the best way to be able to interact with your followers in a meaningful way and in real time as well. You're going to be getting people talking to you, sending in questions, that kind of stuff live as you're live streaming. And so as we continue to talk about these themes of interacting with your followers, growing that brand, maintaining that sort of customer service aspect of your social media, live streaming is another great option and great tool that you can have in your back pocket to sort of increase that level of intimacy that you have with your followers.
And this also ties back really strongly to the last episode that we did about a new version of personal branding. When you're doing a live streaming, it has to be with a person. You can't live stream a product launch. You can't live stream something inanimate like a photo of your store location. It needs to be an actual person. So this really does, again, underscore the importance of having people in your brand associated with it. And that's how you're going to get the most value out of these live streams. You need someone who's charismatic. One of the most important parts of any live stream is that you engage with the people who are watching. After all, that's the point of being live. We see far too many people that live stream and aren't engaging with, literally, you should be engaging with every single chat message unless it's inappropriate. Obviously, that the people are sending. You should be engaging with the audience, answering questions, and ensuring that the live stream actually feels like it's live, because the main benefit of a live stream, the reason people watch a live stream, is for that interaction, that real-time interaction. And it's a really unique thing that you're not going to get. You're able to get really, really, very real-time feedback. You can even do a live stream to get feedback on a product that you have, get people's thoughts on it, that kind of a thing. You can get really creative with the different types of live streaming ideas that you do, and we'll get a bit into this in part 2, especially now with COVID, how you can get really creative with your different live stream ideas. But it's just really important at a broad level that to run a successful live stream, you have to be engaging with the people that are watching it, and that way you're actually going to build an audience and retain those people that keep watching your live stream for as long as you have it running.
So when you do finally decide to go live, there are a couple things that you want to keep in mind, just sort of generally in the overall look and feel of your live stream. You want to make sure, first of all, that it's something worth watching. Just with any other content that you're going to be putting on social media, you want to be providing some sort of value to the people that are going to be following you, whether it's in the form of, just generally visually engaging interactive content or legitimate value and answering questions, that kind of thing. You want to make sure that with your live streams, you're providing something that people are going to want to watch. Just pulling up your phone, sitting in your office chair, streaming your face, and having a little chat with your audience likely isn't going to cut it, and people likely aren't just going to sit around and watch you do that. So think about what you can do to make your stream just generally more interactive and more valuable for your followers. Think about having a like a cool background or even a set to be launching your live stream off of, and make sure that you actually have an idea for what you're going to be doing in the stream.
Yeah, it's especially important if you don't have a huge following yet. Just to push back on one, or explain a little bit more on what Zach said about, just propping up in an office chair and doing a Q&A. That works really well if you're someone that's highly respected that people know. But if you're a brand that doesn't have quite as big of a following, you're going to need to build that following by having a really engaging live stream that then builds up, people's interest in you and in the business. And at that point, you can kind of get away with stuff that's a bit lower quality. But if you're a brand that's really trying to build your following, you're going to want to ensure that whatever set or design you're working with is engaging. And there's a lot of tools. We're not going to get into specifics here because there's a ton, but especially depending on what platform you're on, there's lots of different tools that you can use to make your live streaming more engaging. And we highly recommend you look into those, especially if you're going to be on a platform like YouTube. There's a lot of opportunities to add, graphics and stuff onto the screen, add little animations, add sort of like bars and counters and all these different things that might be relevant to your live stream. Will drastically add to the professionality of it, which is also really important because you want to give off obviously an aura of credibility as a business. If you're live streaming on a brand account, you want it to reflect the value and the high quality of your brand. And so having a low quality live stream is not going to reflect well for any of your followers that go and watch it. When you're live, you're at a very authentic and organic state. And it's really important that you are, set up to take full advantage of that and portray yourself in a positive way. So don't just jump into live streaming. Live streaming is something that we really encourage people to be taking advantage of now, but do it right. And that's something that we really want to harp on, is that it's really important when you jump into live streaming that you take a bit more time than you might with another post. You have to really plan things out and try a couple of different methods and see what kind of live streams draw the most viewers, which ones are most engaging, because live streaming is a bit different than running a social media account. It's a whole different sort of medium, and there's a lot of nuance to it. So we don't want to dismiss that. It's a bit more tricky to navigate than just posting photos and videos on social media. So keep that in mind when you're setting up your first live stream.
And it's not just important that the live stream looks good, looks professional, and reflects your brand in a positive light. You want to make sure that what you're actually doing on the stream is also interactive to your followers, not just in a visual way, but also in a content type of way. Think about what you can actually do on stream that your potential viewers would actually be interested in seeing. Maybe it's explaining how to use one of your new products or something like that. Like Chase was saying, it all comes down to really making sure that you plan out the stream effectively. Make sure that you have, if you're like, okay, I'm going to live stream for 30 minutes or an hour or however long it's going to be, make sure that you have something planned for essentially every minute of that stream, that I'm going to be doing this, then I'm going to be doing this, then I'm going to be doing this. You don't want to just end up in this sort of limbo zone without anything to do, just kind of staring at the camera blankly, because that's something you can definitely fall into if you don't have a core plan or just activities in general in mind.
Yeah, you can definitely fall into that too if you don't have a lot of followers. If you don't have a very consistent chat, people aren't sending messages all the time, you're definitely going to want something to keep it entertaining, even if you're only rocking, 5 to 10 viewers. And on that note, another really, really important thing about live streaming is your schedule. So the deal with live streaming, obviously, is that it's live. So you have to think about, okay, people are actually watching this in real time. So what does that mean? Well, it means a couple of things. Number one, you want to be consistent. You want to set up times that people know you're going to be live so that they can come and watch. And you also want to set up times that are going to be beneficial to your audience. So depending on who your audience is, think about what time of day, what time zones they're going to be most likely to watch your content at. If you are targeting a lot of business people who, generally work during the day and they're generally on the West Coast, then probably don't do it during the workday over there. Structure it so that you're going to be hitting your target audience at the best possible time, and you're going to see a notable increase in viewers. And the more often and the more consistent you are with live streaming, the more success you're going to see. If you just do one live stream, unless you have a huge following, you're going to have to be building that following over time. So live streams really, really reward consistency. So this isn't something you want to do one time and be done with it. If you want to get into live streaming, you really have to make a commitment, build out a schedule, build out a plan, and stick to it. Because over time, you will see a drastic increase in your engagement and the amount of viewers you have, even over the span of a couple weeks. But that only works if you are staying consistent and people know when they can come back and watch you when you're live. And you also need to obviously make sure that you're putting out good content so people want to come back and watch again.
This episode of Times Are Changing is brought to you by Golden Aspect, our company. We're a digital media and marketing agency that specializes in a one contact for everything social approach and completely integrated marketing campaigns.
We emphasize high touch, strong client relationships, and fully integrated marketing approaches. Each of our marketers are proficient in every service we offer and are reachable 7 days a week by text or call. This reliable communication and interaction with your business ensures your contact will be equipped to handle anything you need anytime you need it.
If you want to learn more about what Golden Aspect can do for your business or a friend's business, please feel free to check out our website, www.goldenaspect.com. That is www.goldenaspect.com. 1, 2.
So as we mentioned, there's tons of different unique value that comes with live streaming and doing it on a consistent basis. But there's a really unique opportunity right now with COVID-19, which is basically still, in a lot of places, keeping everybody inside. And a lot of people are spending a lot more time on social media because of this. What you get in this situation with all of these people spending so much more time on Instagram or YouTube is a much higher chance or probability that people will actually stumble upon your live streams and actually sit and watch them for a longer period of time. If less people have less obligations or places they need to be, the odds that they will actually sit down and watch, a 30-minute live stream of your business, if it's legitimately engaging, are significantly higher right now than they might be at a time when something like this is not going on. So there's a couple different things that you can think about, especially if your business is currently unable to be doing any of the things that it would typically be doing in person, like events or stuff like that. There's a really, really great opportunity right now to shift some of that stuff over towards the live streaming side of things and really take advantage of it, and also hit some potential new audiences who may not have been able to interact with those events had they originally been in person.
All of these platforms reward live streaming. It's something that a lot of people are trying to push because it keeps them on the platforms. And so you're going to be rewarded by doing live streams with additional notifications sent out to your followers and all of that thing. And like Zach said, keeping people engaged in these live streams is really important. And another way to think about doing that is to have some sort of giveaway or something, especially if you do offer products. A great way to keep people invested and keep them watching is to offer a giveaway that you do, towards the end of a live stream. That way people are more willing to stay engaged for the whole time. Obviously, you're going to need something else interactive as well, but using a giveaway as a way to hook people and keep people engaged, especially also if it works by promoting your products, is kind of a double win there. That's something to also keep in mind in terms of keeping your stream more engaging right now with COVID. Another thing that you can kind of think about is making a live stream idea that revolves around your brand. So for example, if you're, an alcohol brand, think about doing, virtual happy hours. That's a great example we've seen work with quite some good success. Obviously, people tune in. It's not the same as in person, but, it's something interesting and fun to watch that ties into their brand. Another great example would be a real estate agent. You could do house tours, live stream house tours. Again, not in person, but you're still going to get people to interact. You can even invite people, potential buyers to join the live stream and kind of make it a bit more interactive there. They can ask questions and get more detailed answers. And, even if, the only thing you can do is sit back in your office chair and answer questions. Gary Vaynerchuk has been a great example of this. Like I said before, it works best if you are someone that people know and respect. He gives out a lot of advice, talks about his business and a lot of things that are happening in the world in a very, just simple, organic way. And even at the end of the day, if you're doing that on a consistent basis, it can work, especially if you run, an interesting business or you have you feel like you have a lot of advice to give to people. Live streams are a great way to interact with people in that way as well.
The world of live streaming right now is definitely something that is really underutilized by a lot of brands in the market. It's already become the standard for the gaming industry, and you're starting to see it pop up as sort of the next frontier across all other social media platforms. Especially if you were to be able to jump into live streaming right now, you're going to be on the front cutting edge of really an up-and-coming and booming industry that's sort of starting to set the standard for client interactions or customer interactions with brands moving forward. It'll really be an opportunity for you to set yourself and your brand sort of apart from the crowd and the large majority of companies and brand accounts out there that really just aren't taking advantage of this sort of really intimate interaction type of social media content.
It's definitely our opinion that live streaming is going to become an extremely important piece of social media. It already is, but it's going to become ever more important. I think COVID is going to just make that happen even quicker. And so live streaming is certainly something to keep on your radar screen, and COVID-19 is a perfect opportunity to test this stuff out. If you guys are interested in getting some help setting up this stuff, there's a lot of technicalities that go on, behind running a live stream, such as how do you get it on multiple platforms at the same time? How do you get all these graphics and everything up on the screen? This is stuff that we do have experience doing. So please reach out to us if you have any questions. The one thing I will just leave on is another idea, of how to make your live stream engaging. If you're partnered with any influencers or more notable people that might be recognizable, you can even do an influencer sort of takeover live stream where they live stream, ideally, doing something involved with your business. Again, like to use the happy hour example, maybe you have a popular influencer do a little happy hour live stream. That's a great example of how, you could test out this live stream space. If you or people in your business are not someone who loves to be on camera, especially in a live capacity, then maybe look for someone that that could be an influencer that might be interested in doing a takeover and acting as that primary interaction point. And you can also do a live stream with multiple people as well. There can totally be multiple people. So just get creative with it and also see what people respond best to, because everyone's audience is different. Just make sure that whatever you're doing consistently is providing a good amount of entertainment value and ideally keeping people, watching the stream throughout the whole time.
And that is about where we're going to wrap things up. Make sure you follow us wherever you listen to podcasts. We upload weekly episodes every Tuesday. If you are interested in reading our newsletter, please visit our website at goldenaspect.com/timesarechanting. Once again, that is goldenaspect.com/timesarechanting. Thank you all so much for listening to this edition of the Times Are Changing podcast, and we'll see you all next week.
If you enjoyed listening to this week's podcast, please check us out on social media, Instagram at Golden Aspect Media. If you want to learn more about what our company can do for your business, please check out our website, www.goldenaspect.com. We offer everything from content creation, social media account management, to digital ad marketing campaigns.
Look, if you made it this far, you're obviously interested in this stuff. And are you doing it? Is your company doing it? If you're not, you really should be, because you're missing out, and we're here to help. So send us a message, send us an email, give us a call. We'll be here, ready to help. Take care.